Okay, here we are back again. This is number five. So I want to have a little fun. Um, yeah. So next day, I guess I'll give a little information. So it's August 30th. It's about 5:52. So 8 minutes till 6 o'clock on a Wednesday. Survived the hurricane. Didn't actually lose power. Funny enough. So that was really nice. Bayshore is basically flooded from Rome to downtown. Excuse me. A lot of Davis Island is flooded. Most of Bayshore was flooded throughout the day, but it's starting to sink back after high tide. So, yeah, a lot of debris around the house, cleaning that up, but it's still really wet, so kind of waiting till the morning. Started putting some stuff back on the porches. So, yeah, got through Hurricane Idalia, hoping for up in the panhandle that they're all right. So yeah, we're gonna do Charlie's team. Brady come back. Also hoping Charlie is okay. I know her parents were staying with her, and they have their house on Amory Island, and that's probably the first floor's probably flooded. Probably totally flooded. Yeah, trying to. I got so much long hair now. So eighth nomination, first pick for Charlie. Charlie does love her quarterbacks, so $28, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, what is there to say about the guy? He just won an MVP, second MVP. He just won his second Super Bowl. He's the best quarterback in the sport with Brady retired. Yeah, led the league in passing yards, over 5,200 touchdowns, 41 fantasy points, 417. And our league we finally did it. We finally paid quarterbacks in our league what they're probably worth. So you pay $28 for Patrick Mahomes. It's right around where I had him. I got him like a $30 quarterback. So you paid for him at cost. I don't mind that, even though I think you're overdraft quarterbacks more often than not. I think that was all right. I like that. I myself wanted him. I wasn't going to pay that much for him. Probably didn't really work out for me the way things have gone now with Kamara and Jonathan Taylor. But nothing I can do. So yeah, Mahomes is great. Getting him as your foundational bedrock to start, I'm good with it. Not bad at all. So then with the 10th selection, 10th nomination in this case, we spent $77 on Austin Eckler. So I mentioned it before in Sarah's video. You're kind of doing the same thing. You're doing hero RB strategy, okay? Or we could call it anchor RB. I like to call it hero. Either way, you basically have one hero running back, and then you just kind of build out everything else, and you got nothing. You kind of kick the can on the rest of your running backs. So Eckler's tremendous. Helped Brian win a championship 2 years ago. Last year he had 18 touchdowns. He had 900 yards rushing, 700 yards receiving, so 1,600 yards. Crazy, crazy, crazy. He was looking for a trade this offseason. They did not trade him. One of many running backs looking to get out. Saquon Barkley, one more year. Josh Jacobs, one more year. Eckler, one more year. Joe Mixon took a pay cut. Aaron Jones took a pay cut. And Jonathan Taylor is kind of holding out, sort of. So Eckler's tremendous. He was the second best. He was basically the second best running back in the league after McCaffrey last year, and that's because McCaffrey was ridiculous. I think I'll take a slight step back with Kellen Moore, now the offensive coordinator, coming over from the Cowboys, and the Chargers spending a first-round pick on Quinston Johnston out of TCU to join Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. I think they're going to kind of taper back using Eckler so much, because remember, Keenan Allen missed 6 games last year to start the season, then Mike Williams misses 4 games in between, and they don't really have like a slot receiver because Guyton gets hurt, so they're trying Josh Palmer. So all of that's to say, I think I'm not expecting him to get as much work. That isn't to say he's not worth it. I think, again, him and McCaffrey are just kind of in like a tier of their own. They're just like so high above everyone else. But I still think he'll get like, maybe we'll say instead of 1,600 yards, which is a ton, maybe like 1,300. And maybe instead of 18 touchdowns total, I mean, God, basically tying Jamal Williams, he'll get like 12, which is still really, really good and still like worth the price. So you're paying him at cost. Like I say with running backs, it was really damn difficult to get a deal on running backs this year. So I don't mind it just a lot, but we've spent basically, we spent over $100 on our first two players. Okay, locked in. Then the 13th nomination, we doubled up on the Kansas City backs. Now we get Travis Kelce as our top receiver quasi player. I mean, Kelce was like, we don't really use tight ends in this league, right? Everyone knows that. I hope everyone knows that. But basically, Kelce was a top 5 receiver last year as a tight end. So I think, unfortunately, like with the cost, I mean, you paid $56 for him. I would say you paid for him at cost. The issue is, and we'll go down this later, like Justin Jefferson went for $57. All right, Chris Olave went for, what was it on? Yeah, Chris Olave went for like 36, and Garrett Wilson went for like 35, and Devontae Adams went for 36. Metcalf went for 35. So you paid $20 more for Kelce, who I guess, I mean, other than Devontae, is more well-known than the others, but still doesn't feel great. I feel like that's, unfortunately, an overpay, even though I think he's worth it. I think he's still overpaid. I think he's worth around $50, if I'm honest. I think he's worth around $50. You paid $56 for him. You got a stack with Mahomes, so I like that. That's kind of fun for you, watching a lot of Kansas City, so kind of like Vivian back in the day. So I think he'll be tremendous. Probably, gosh, he'll probably get like at least 1,300 yards, maybe get another like 12 touchdowns. So pretty in line. He's the top target in Kansas City. Tyreek Hill has been gone. Juju Smith-Schuster's gone. McCole Hardman's gone. It's basically Marquez Valdes-Scantling and a bunch of young guys like Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, Rashee Rice, Richie James, like just a bunch of guys. So it's Kelce or bust. He's going to be tremendous. Even though he's 33, he's getting closer to the back end. Don't love it. Don't hate it. Good pick. Good player. But now we've spent over $150 on our top 3 players. I like this, though. I like Charlie kind of just like, I'm going to go get my guys. Like, I don't care. I'll worry about everything else. Just let me go get my guys. So good on you, Charlie, for like spending some money and not just like waiting and being like cut out of something. 27th nomination, Deshaun Watson. So, as I said before, when I'm nominating quarterbacks, I will say to you guys, you guys ought to be familiar with this term. I've used it before. I haven't used it yet in any videos, but I am chumming the waters. I am chumming the waters with quarterbacks I don't want, just to see if I end up with somebody for $1 or if you take them. So, like, I will chum the waters with Dak Prescott. I will chum the waters with Kirk Cousins. I will chum the waters with your pick, Deshaun Watson. Of all of them, Watson is someone that I just, from a personal standpoint, did not want on my team. I mean, there are other things, like, we don't look at off-the-field stuff, but it's just very distasteful. And also, he wasn't very good last year either. He was pretty terrible. He was worse than Dak Prescott last year, and Dak Prescott led the league in interceptions. The only reason he doesn't get as much like infamy, I guess you could say, as on the field, not even off the field, but on the field as Prescott, is because he didn't even play that many games. He was suspended the first 11 games for everything off the field. So he only played in 6 games, and he was not good. He was pretty terrible. You're hoping for him to return to his top 5 ways after missing a season in 2021. He's got an elite offensive line. The weapons are all right. He's got Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore I like a lot, David Njoku. I think he's like a fringe QB1. He's kind of like on the outside in that Dak Prescott kind of area. You got him for $3, so you got him for like a good deal, I guess, if you want a second quarterback. I just, I don't think anyone really, I guess someone might have wanted Deshaun Watson. He might have trade value to someone. I'm surprised you wanted him, more so than anything, just kind of, I don't know. I would have preferred taking like Anthony Richardson for 5 or some of those upside guys. I'm not sure of Watson's upside because missing a year isn't great. Like the last guy to do it was Le'Veon Bell, and he came back with the Jets, and he was not good. He looked really rusty last year. Maybe he'll find that magic again. I think he can't be any worse than some of those late Baker Mayfield years, but he was not good. He was pretty terrible for his 6-week cameo last year. And having him drafting a second quarterback, even at such a good deal, is questionable at best. Drafting Deshaun Watson makes it worse. So, yeah, not a fan of that. Don't like that. Not great. Interesting, but not great. Not sure why you wanted him. We got Joey Bosa for $1. That's cool. 66 nomination. Ooh, Chris Godwin. All right, so we went in on a Bucs player. He was good last year. He was fully healthy, coming back from a torn ACL. Yeah, he's 4 consecutive top 15 finishes, but this is more about, do we believe Baker Mayfield can feed him? Do I believe Baker Mayfield can feed him? I don't know. The offensive line, I got to see how good that O-line is. Baker's only operated behind, like, elite lines. So the Bucs are probably not even a good line. They're probably below average or worse. Yeah, the Bucs have been really pass-heavy with Brady. I think going to Mayfield, they'll be less so. Still, Godwin's the underneath slot guy. He'll probably get fed. He's getting paid $20 million a year. Not that I think he's worth it. Probably break 1,000 yards, maybe close to like 90 catches. He probably won't get very many touchdowns, though. You'll be lucky to get like 4. So he's more of a wide receiver, like 3, and he's for you like a wide receiver 2. So I don't love it. There are players I'd rather have. McLaurin went for 6. Evans went for 14, his teammates. Yeah, there were some deals at receiver that I liked more, but I don't hate it. You basically paid for him what he's worth. So we're paying a lot for people for what they're worth here on this team. $8, 80th nomination, Darren Waller. I actually like this, funny enough. So this will be interesting. Your second tight end, right? Usually, I don't like tight end picks. Only really 8 of them were usable last year. However, caveats. I think you got a second usable tight end here, and I will tell you why. Do I believe in Daniel Jones? No. However, Brian Daboll is an excellent head coach. Mike Kafka is an excellent offensive coordinator. The rest of the receivers are just okay. They're not great. Someone's going to try and tell me, oh, Jalen Hyatt's really fast. Great. He's really fast. Can he run routes? No. Can he read coverage? No. He's real raw. Most of the other guys, Darius Slayton, he's a guy. Sterling Shepard can't stay healthy. Wan'Dale Robinson blew out his knee. We can go down the list. A lot of Giants fans say, oh, we're really deep at receiver. No. You have a bunch of guys at receiver. They're not good. They're just a bunch of guys. You know who is good? Darren Waller's good when he's healthy. So I think Waller is the red zone threat. I think Waller is going to get fed in this offense. I think Waller, even despite coming back from his injuries, his 2019 season, his 2020 season too, he was spectacular. He was so many receptions. He was on Patrick's team back then. I remember he had a game where he had 14 receptions. Excuse me, he was blowing up the Chargers. So, even if New York doesn't throw the ball too much, just on the touchdown regression, he ought to be a threat. I'm thinking if he stays healthy, maybe like 75 catches, 900 yards, and then maybe like 8 touchdowns, which would make him basically kind of like a wide receiver 3, kind of like Godwin. But you got him, again, maybe a little bit of a steal. I really like Waller this year. I think, let's see, top tight end is Kelsey. Second tight end is probably Andrews. I probably got Waller as my third tight end. And he's definitely very useful. He's really, really good. And he's a really good route runner. And he's on an offense, even if Daniel Jones he only threw 15 touchdowns. So we'll say he does a little bit better. Let's say he throws 18 touchdowns, which isn't much. I think possibly half of them will go to Waller because there's no one else to throw to. No one else that's good in the red zone to throw to. So, yeah, I think he's a prime candidate for a rebound. I like this. $8, that's your first, finally we didn't pay for someone at cost or overpay for someone. We finally got someone good for a good price. And the rest, you just had dollar picks. So you did not make another pick for over 80 selections. And you took your third tight end, this time Bears tight end Cole Kmet. What do we think? I mean, for $1, it's not bad. He had a nice little run towards the end of last season where he was putting up 12 points a game, which would make him a starter. But DJ Moore's there now. They like to run the ball with Justin Fields. Kmet's basically on the borderline of usable tight ends. So the borderline is basically 8, and Kmet is basically the 8th tight end. So I guess I can kind of see him being usable on your team. I don't love it, but for $1, I don't hate it per se. I think there were definitely receivers you could have just nominated for $1 and probably gotten that were more useful. But I get it. But my question kind of is now as we've gone through it. So we got Mahomes, we got a quarterback. We got one running back in Eckler. We got a wide receiver in Godwin. We got another wide receiver tight end in Kelsey, a wide receiver tight end in Waller. We got a backup quarterback, and then Kmet's kind of like our flex. Where's our number 2 receiver or number 2 running back? Where is he? Where's the second running back that you have to start? And in classic Charlie form, you kind of punted. And even worse in this case, you picked someone on the one team you shouldn't have because you picked Jerick McKinnon, who's also on the Chiefs. McKinnon was okay for the Chiefs last year. He was kind of like the third down scat back. He randomly scored 10 touchdowns last year. So that was kind of interesting. But I still think he's behind Pacheco. And I'm not really sure. I don't think he's a starter in our league. I'm not even sure if I would keep him as... I guess he's a good bench player in that sense, but he's starting for you. And that's really not great because basically it's touchdown or bust with him. But even more so than that, he's on the same team as Mahomes and Kelsey. That's too much. I like the Kelsey-Mahomes stack, but now we're starting the running back too. Why? Why didn't you just get, even if we're, pushing up for, running backs, and we're just oh, I don't know who I'm going to get for, a running back for, $1 that I can play. Well, first, you should have spent $3 on Deshaun Watson. We'll start there. So you should have $4 in the very beginning, just right from jump. But even if we don't think we can really get a running back for that much, I'd rather take someone, godly. It's hard because running back was real rough. Raheem Mostert or Jeff Wilson Jr. I would have rather done something like that. Basically, any sort of running back I could get my hands on for who did not play for the Chiefs. because now you're super Chiefs heavy. I don't love that. You're basically you're not going to win whatever bye week the Chiefs have. I'll have to look that up. But even more so than that, I can't imagine like McKinnon has a good day if they're passing the ball, or I guess Kelsey will still have a good day even if McKinnon happens to luck into a touchdown. It's not great. It's not a great build. That's real flimsy. I don't like that. I guess for $1, I mean the value is there for $1. I just don't understand why you picked the same team as Mahomes and Kelsey when you did a pretty good job getting a bunch of other players, and then we waited to fill running back and we did it with a guy on the same team. Yeah, I don't like that. Next, kind of skimming down, took KJ Osborne at 217. I am surprised Osborne went for $1. I think Osborne is terrific. Whenever Justin Jefferson or Adam Thielen have been out and Osborne had to step in, he's been basically like when Jefferson is gone, he's like 80% of Jefferson. When Thielen was gone, it's like nothing really happened. I know a lot of people are high on Jordan Addison. I like Jordan Addison. I mentioned it before. He's on Justin's team, but KJ Osborne for $1. Like KJ Osborne's been there. He's been really good too. And we don't know. We don't know that Addison's the number 2. I mean, I guess you could say, oh, TJ Hawkinson's still there. Oh my gosh. TJ Hawkinson's still there, Dylan, and I'll just be like, that's cool. KJ Osborne's better. Yeah. So I think Osborne's got a shot to be a flex play for you. That's a really sneaky good pick because we don't really know how things are going to trickle down. Is TJ Hawkinson the number 2? Is Jordan Addison the number 2? Is KJ Osborne the number 2? This is a very pass-heavy offense like the Chiefs, funny enough, with the Vikings. I think that Osborne has the talent. I think Osborne's never had the opportunity. I think this is his opportunity. And I think he's a really good sleeper. And getting him for $1, that's a really great find. So good on you, Charlie. I don't know if you knew it, but yeah, I like Osborne quite a bit. I think that was a really good pick. I wish I got him for $1. He would be starting on my team for $1 today, right now. That's how much I like him. $224, $1, Deuce Vaughn. Another good sneaky pick that I like. So Vaughn fell to the 6th round in April's draft. He came out of Kansas State. He's only 5'5" and like 180 pounds, so that's why he fell. If you just watch the tape, he's at least a 3rd round pick, maybe even a 2nd round pick. He's really, really shifty. He's got a lot of wiggle. He also has really good vision. He's just small. But I think that, I don't know if he can hold up in taking the pounding as like the number 1 running back. But I think he could be the handcuff. Could be. I don't know yet. Could be. Could be the handcuff to Tony Pollard, who broke his leg last year, and we've never seen him get a really good workload. Either way, I don't really know why Stefan let you get Deuce Vaughn for $1. He's looked terrific in the preseason. He looked terrific at Kansas State. There's nothing to believe that he won't have a role. And just as a rookie running back, I'd kind of just hang on to him for at least 6. I mean, I said it with like Aaron Jones. I held on to him for like 11 weeks until he got a shot. So I'd hang on to him for a while just to see if he gets a chance because he's looked, every time he's gotten the ball, he's looked really good. Genuinely. And so, again, another sneaky late dollar pickup that I wish was on my team. So I like Deuce Vaughn a lot. He's looked really good. $230, $1 for Zay Jones. So this is a little weird. Jones finally got paid. He left Vegas, got paid. He was the number 2 receiver, which is weird. And now he's the number 3 receiver behind, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk in Jacksonville. I don't know how much that's going to matter. Like, he had 82. He was pretty good last year. He had 82 receptions and 800 yards. I don't think he'll reach that just because Ridley and Kirk got to get fed. So, is there the possibility that I'm wrong and he's a top 25 receiver again? Yeah, there's a possibility. I admit that. I don't know how the Jacksonville offense is going to break out. I really, really like Calvin Ridley, but I don't know. So, yeah, I can see taking a flyer on him and just seeing like what he's got. Maybe for now, I'll say like 650 yards and like 5 touchdowns. It's not bad. It's not great. He's cuttable at any point, but just to kind of find out based off last year if he's got something, I don't mind it. I mean, for dollar guys, we're taking flyers on people, and a lot of the rookie guys are gone. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? 233, Gus Edwards, another sneaky dollar pickup for Charlie. I like me some Gus Edwards. He missed all of 2021 with the torn ACL. He was back last year. He didn't look crazy because he missed a lot of last season too. But he's really, really efficient when he gets the ball. He doesn't catch the ball like ever. So he is the backup to J.K. Dobbins, but is he the goal line guy again? What does he look like? I don't know. But again, for $1, just to kind of find out, just to get like, I wouldn't even say he's the handcuff because frankly, he's like the co-starter. He gets so much work. It wouldn't surprise me if Dobbins gets like 15 carries and Edwards gets like 8 to 10. So I like Edwards a lot. He doesn't have a ton of upside, but he's a good player. He looks finally healthy, and Dobbins, in his own way, is injury prone too. So if something ever happened to Dobbins, Edwards would feast. And he's always been really efficient as a runner. If he could just pass catch, be a complete back. But we take players for what they are, not what we wish they were. So I like him. Again, another player, sneaky good find for $1. I don't know what it was. I don't know what was in the water. I don't know what is it you saw. I don't know if you're just taking names. But you did a really good job. Starting from Osborne, every single dollar player, that's 4 in a row, were players that I wanted, players on my watch list. So good on you, Charlie. Last pick, 236, Gerald Everett. So, like, what is it? He's the Chargers tight end? I mean, this is tight end number 4. At this point, we've run out. So, like, if Kelsey's the number 1 tight end, and Waller's the number 3 tight end, and Kmet's the number 8 tight end, and my cutoff point is 8, I don't care about anyone afterwards. I don't care about Gerald Everett. Last year, he was like the 15th tight end. He's not usable. So I just cut him and get some upside or something off waivers, which is going to be a whole other discussion when we get to Lauren's team with all of the tight ends she has. Because maybe 3 of them are useful. Maybe. I'm thinking only 2. But I would just straight cut Everett, especially because they brought in Quentin Johnston, so he's down on the pecking order. It's like Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Quentin Johnston. I might even put Josh Palmer ahead of him. So maybe he breaks 500 yards, 4 touchdowns. Cool. He's never going to start for you. I'm never going to feel safe enough to put him in my lineup. I would just cut him for some upside. So, yeah, what do we think overall? I mean, Charlie's team, in classic Charlie fashion, is rather odd. She drafted Isaiah Simmons, and then she took Dexter Lawrence, and then there's Charvarius Ward. Like, the whole defensive player thing seems to just be totally a miss for her. I would cut Simmons and Ward and Lawrence. I would go pick up a linebacker. I'd go pick up a second linebacker. I'd pick up a safety, and then I'd start all of them. This is kind of weird because Charlie took like dollar players, and usually Charlie has 0 depth. And technically speaking, Charlie has 0 depth at running back. I mean, really, we're talking Eckler, McKinnon, Vaughn, and Edwards. If Edwards stays healthy, he probably overtakes McKinnon and is her number 2, and she can kind of quasi get away with it. We'll see. Whenever Charlie loses a running back, it kills her. So, but I mean, in classic, that's the classic Charlie way of just not ever believing in running backs and constantly never investing in them and just getting burned by them every year. But I mean, the rest of the team's real good. I like the depth picks. I hate Deshaun Watson, but he's probably a good starting quarterback, and I don't think I'll ever start him over Mahomes, which makes it kind of weird that you took him and wasted the money. Because, I mean, if you're starting someone over Patrick Mahomes, then why did you pick Patrick Mahomes? So, yeah. But overall, I don't think the team's bad. I think the team's, again, for dollar players, the bench isn't half bad. I would say, yeah, maybe like 5 of the players I'd consider cutting Kmet. But what I'd really want to do is probably trade McKinnon and get like a better back, or like package someone in Osborne for like something, some sort of starting back, and then just picking up some players off free agency. I'd definitely cut Everett though for some upside. Like ain't no way I'm taking like 4 tight ends. Screw that. You're wasting roster space. So turn over the defensive players, cut Everett, but overall, the team's actually pretty good. If she can just like make those very simple changes to make the team like actually get to a high ceiling, she's going places. And kind of, I guess, what's scary is if she does keep McKinnon and she starts Kelsey and she starts Mahomes, if Kansas City has a field day, then Charlie's probably going to beat you. And it's true, more often than not, Kansas City will have a field day. So I guess in that sense, it kind of works. I just don't really like tying all of my eggs to that kind of basket. But still, I don't think the team's bad. I'm going to give you like a C+. I think, it's a little above average. I'm not going to give you like a B, but I think the team's good, genuinely good. Needs some work. Always needs some work because you never invest in running back. But more so than most years, you actually have a good foundation with decent depth at other positions. So good on you for that. Get to work on the defense and the upside, though. Please. Please fix your defense. All right. Yeah. Good draft, Charlie. I'm surprised.